If you have ever wondered what separates a good strategy game from a truly unforgettable one, this list has your answer. These 25 titles prove the RTS genre is alive, thriving, and better than ever. Age of Empires 4 kicks off the list as one of the most polished and ambitious entries in the legendary franchise. Developed by Relic Entertainment and published by Xbox Game Studios, this title blends the timeless appeal of classic civilization building with modern production values. You choose from 8 distinct civilizations, each with unique mechanics, units, and playstyles that genuinely feel different from one another. The campaign is enriched with real documentary footage that puts historical battles into proper context, which adds an educational and cinematic layer rarely seen in the genre. Multiplayer remains active and competitive, making this a top-tier pick for long-term strategic play. Coming in at number 2, Tempest Rising is a game that wears its Command and Conquer inspiration proudly, while carving out a distinct identity all its own. Set in an alternate 1997, where a nuclear catastrophe has reshaped geopolitics, the game offers 2 full campaigns across 2 opposing factions with contrasting playstyles. Mission design strikes a solid balance between guiding the player and giving freedom to approach objectives in different ways. The aesthetic is chunky and pseudo-apocalyptic, and the storytelling takes a satisfying twist in the 3rd act that catches most players off guard. It is one of the freshest RTS releases in recent years, and well worth every minute. Number 3 belongs to Company of Heroes 3, the long-awaited sequel that brings large-scale World War II combat to the Mediterranean theater. The game introduces a dynamic campaign map, where strategic decisions between missions actually shape the battles that follow. Each skirmish involves cover mechanics, destructible environments, and unit preservation, rewarding thoughtful play over brute force. The 2 factions, Allied Forces and the German Wehrmacht, feel mechanically distinct and require different approaches to master. Multiplayer has been steadily improved through post-launch patches, and the overall package is now in excellent shape for both newcomers and veterans. Frostpunk 2 arrives at number 4 as one of the most emotionally demanding strategy games ever made. Set decades after the original, this sequel shifts focus from survival micromanagement to large-scale city governance in a frozen post-apocalyptic world. You manage factions, pass laws, and make brutal decisions that affect thousands of lives, and the game never lets you forget the human cost of each choice. The tension is constant, and the atmosphere is oppressive in the best possible way. If you enjoy strategy games that make you feel the weight of leadership rather than just the mechanics of it, this is an essential experience. Sins of a Solar Empire 2 lands at number 5 as the definitive Space 4X real-time strategy experience currently available. It blends RAN strategy with real-time tactical combat across massive star systems, and the addition of moving planetary orbits fundamentally changes how you plan supply lines and defensive perimeters. Diplomacy, economy, and warfare all intertwine in a way that feels genuinely dynamic and responsive. The visual fidelity is impressive for the genre, and the modding community keeps it constantly fresh. For fans of slow-burn space strategy with epic payoffs, this is the gold standard right now. Age of Mythology Retold steps in at number 6 as a beautifully remastered version of one of the most beloved entries in the Age of Empires family. Instead of historical civilizations, this game builds around Greek, Egyptian, Norse, and Atlantean mythology, complete with god powers and mythological creatures that can turn the tide of battle in spectacular fashion. The Retold edition updates the visuals substantially while preserving the core gameplay loop that fans remember. Campaigns are engaging and well-paced, and the unique god selection system adds meaningful variety to each match. It is the kind of remaster done right, respectful of the original while confident enough to modernize. StarCraft II enters at number 7 as arguably the most mechanically refined RTS ever made. The game demands precision, speed, and deep knowledge of 3 wildly asymmetric factions, the Terran, Zerg, and Protoss, each requiring a completely different approach to match play. The 3 campaigns are some of the most content-rich in any RTS, with the Wings of Liberty storyline in particular offering cinematic quality rare for the genre. The ladder system remains competitive and is still populated with skilled players worldwide. The fact that the core game is free to play makes this one of the easiest recommendations on the entire list. Age of Empires II Definitive Edition claims the number 8 spot as one of the most enduring achievements in gaming history. Originally released in 1999 and fully remastered for the modern era, it features 4K graphics, a remastered soundtrack, and content expansions that have extended its lifespan for decades. The Civilization roster is enormous, each with unique bonuses and unit variants that reward deep knowledge of the game. The active multiplayer scene is a testament to how well this game has aged, and ranked play remains genuinely competitive. Few games in any genre match its combination of depth, accessibility, and replay value. Gates of Hell Ostfront commands the 9th position as a brutally realistic World War II RTS that puts tactical immersion above all else. Set on the Eastern Front, the game features detailed unit behavior, destructible environments, and a level of authentic military simulation rarely found in the genre. Every squad matters, and losing veteran units carries real strategic consequences. The campaign puts you in command of German, Soviet, and Allied forces across major historical engagements. It has built a devoted community and is frequently cited by enthusiasts as one of the most rewarding RTS experiences currently available on Steam. WARNO occupies the 10th spot as the spiritual successor to the beloved wargame series, and a serious contender for the most tactically demanding RTS on this list. Set during a hypothetical NATO versus Warsaw Pact conflict in the 1980s, it covers land, air, and combined arms warfare with impressive authenticity. The unit roster is massive, the deck-building system is deep, and matches require constant decision-making under pressure. Online multiplayer is competitive and well-organized, and the game receives regular updates and new content drops. For players who want operational depth and historical grounding, WARNO is simply in a class of its own. Dune Spice Wars settles into the 11th position as a strategy game that does justice to Frank Herbert's iconic science fiction universe. Set on the desert planet Arrakis, you lead one of several factions competing for control of spice, the most valuable resource in the galaxy. The game blends real-time strategy with 4X elements, incorporating political maneuvering and espionage alongside conventional combat. The atmosphere is faithfully recreated, from the iconic sandworm threats to the faction dynamics familiar to fans of the books and films. It is both a great strategy game and a respectful tribute to the source material. They Are Billions takes the 12th spot as a relentless and deeply rewarding base defense RTS set in a steampunk post-apocalyptic world. Your objective is to build and fortify a colony against waves of infected that eventually number in the thousands. Resource management and base layout are as critical as combat readiness, and a single breach in your walls can trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. The survival mode features procedurally generated maps that keep every run feeling fresh and punishing. The campaign adds narrative context and structured mission variety, making this one of the most replayable titles in the genre. Manor Lords arrives at number 13 as a visually stunning medieval city builder with real-time strategy combat woven into its foundation. Developed largely by a single developer, it is a remarkable achievement in scope and detail. Citizens have genuine needs across all seasons, and failing to provide shelter, food, or warmth has immediate and visible consequences. Battles are conducted with realistic unit formations that reflect medieval warfare rather than abstract unit numbers. The game is still growing through updates, and its community is deeply engaged in shaping its direction. It is one of the most immersive strategy experiences in recent memory. Northgard claims the 14th position as a refreshingly accessible Viking-themed RTS that emphasizes population management over massive army control. Rather than commanding hundreds of units, you assign your limited workforce to buildings and roles, balancing food production, exploration, and military readiness simultaneously. Each of the game's multiple clans plays differently, offering meaningful variety across dozens of hours of play. The art style is charming, and the seasonal mechanics add a natural rhythm to every match. Both the single-player campaign and multiplayer modes are polished and inviting, making it a standout for players who want strategic depth without overwhelming complexity. Age of Darkness Final Stand earns the 15th spot as one of the most intense survival RTS experiences on Steam today. Built on the foundation laid by They Are Billions, this game pits you against nightmarish hordes that grow increasingly overwhelming with each passing cycle. Hero-driven combat adds a layer of RPG depth to the genre, and the campaign missions are crafted with real variety and escalating difficulty. Base building is satisfying and punishes poor placement in ways that feel fair rather than arbitrary. For players who thrive on the tension of holding a line against impossible odds, this game delivers that feeling better than almost any other title currently available. Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War Definitive Edition steps in at number 16 as a legendary grimdark RTS now brought to its best form ever. Compiling the original game and all 3 expansions into one comprehensive package, it features 9 distinct factions and 4 full campaigns. The remaster delivers significantly improved lighting, textures upscaled to modern standards, and a 64-bit upgrade for better performance and mod compatibility. The integrated mod manager opens the door to over 2 decades of community-created content, which is an extraordinary amount of replayability. For anyone who has not experienced Dawn of War, this is the definitive way to do so. Broken Arrow enters at number 18 as a modern combined arms RTS that focuses on contemporary military conflict without a fictional or historical setting. Players build custom decks of land and air units drawn from real military hardware across multiple nations, enabling highly personalized tactical approaches. The missions emphasize proper combined arms doctrine, encouraging coordination between armor, infantry, and close air support. The game has had a rough journey to stability, but remains one of the more ambitious takes on modern warfare in the RTS space. For players drawn to present-day military strategy, this is one of the few options addressing it with serious depth. Beyond All Reason lands at number 19 as one of the most technically sophisticated RTS experiences available, and notably entirely free to play. Built on the Spring engine, it offers 3 fully developed factions across hundreds of community-made maps, with a unit control system praised by enthusiasts as the most intuitive in the genre. The scale of battles is enormous, involving thousands of units and requiring both macro-level strategy and micro-level precision simultaneously. Its active development team and passionate community ensure constant improvements and fresh content. For anyone who wants to see what the ceiling of RTS design can look like, this is a must-play. Europa Universalis V claims the 20th position as the latest entry in one of the deepest and most storied grand strategy franchises in gaming. Released in late 2025, it preserves the historical 4X loop the series is known for, while refining the interface and adding new systemic depth to diplomacy, warfare, and economy. You begin in the late Middle Ages and guide your chosen nation through centuries of expansion, conflict, and cultural development. Every playthrough unfolds differently based on the starting nation and historical circumstances, providing near infinite replayability. It is the most comprehensive and polished entry in the franchise to date. Civilization VII arrives at number 21 as the newest chapter in Sid Meier's groundbreaking turn-based strategy series. Launched in early 2025, it introduces an age system that restructures how civilizations evolve across different historical periods, making each era feel meaningfully distinct. The game is more accessible than its predecessors, with automation options and a cleaner interface that ease new players into its depth, without sacrificing complexity for veterans. Leader customization and faction pairing have been expanded, offering more ways to craft your ideal civilization run. Despite a mixed critical reception at launch, ongoing updates have significantly refined the overall experience. Supreme Commander Forged Alliance settles into 22nd place as a landmark achievement in large-scale RTS design that still holds up remarkably well today. The expansion to the original Supreme Commander delivers the full vision of its creator, offering 3 distinct factions, massive unit rosters, and battles that span enormous maps with hundreds of units in play simultaneously. The strategic zoom, shifting seamlessly from individual unit view to full battlefield overview, remains one of the most elegant design decisions in the genre. Its multiplayer community, supported through Forged Alliance Forever, is still active and regularly organizes tournaments. Few games before or since have matched its ambition and execution. Tooth and Tail takes the 23rd spot as a stylish, mechanically stripped-down RTS designed for both traditional and controller-based play. Set in a world of animal civil war inspired by the Russian Revolution, it presents a narrative full of dark humor and political allegory. The unit production system is streamlined and elegant, favoring rapid adaptation over complex macro management, which makes it one of the more accessible entries on this list without feeling shallow. Local and online multiplayer is fast-paced and surprisingly deep once you understand the underlying dynamics. Its unique aesthetic and soundtrack are among the most distinctive in the genre. 8-Bit Armies claims the 24th position as an unapologetically retro-inspired RTS that recaptures the feel of classic Command & Conquer with charming low-poly visuals. The gameplay loop is straightforward, emphasizing base building, resource gathering, and direct military confrontation without complicated mechanics or faction asymmetry. Missions are varied enough to maintain interest across the full campaign, and the cooperative mode is a genuinely fun way to play with a friend. It is not trying to reinvent the genre, and succeeds precisely because of that clarity of purpose. For players who miss the golden age of classic RTS, this is an affectionate and well-executed tribute. Cataclismo rounds out the list at number 25 as one of the most creative and distinctive RTS titles currently on Steam. Your mission is to construct fortifications using individual building blocks and then defend them against waves of nightmarish creatures with carefully positioned ranged units. The construction system is genuinely innovative, rewarding creative thinking and precise planning over simple wall spamming. Procedurally generated maps and challenge modes ensure no two sessions play out the same way. Backed by an engaged development team and a growing community, this is a game that proves there's still enormous creative space left to explore within the real-time strategy genre.